Good morning, student. Today's lecture we are going to discuss the life cycle of the stock. Okay, today's topic for the discussion is the life cycle of the nostoc. First of all, systematic position or the classification of the nostoc. First of all, systematic position or the classification of the nostoc. According to the FIST in the 1945, the class of the nostoc, it is Macroscopic, which is commonly called as the Cyanophyceae. Then order Nostoc, family Nostocaceae, and the genus is the Nostoc. Okay, this is the classification or the systematic position of the nostoc. Class Macroscopic or the Cyanophyceae, order Nostocales, family Nostocaceae, and the genus is the Nostoc. For discussing the nostoc, you should know why the nostoc it is included into the class Cyanophyceae, and therefore you should know the genus of the Cyanophyceae. Okay, the Cyanophycean members, these are the only known oxygen producing prokaryotic algae, and these are considered as the most primitive type of the algae. Okay, general characters of the Cyanophyceae, the algae, these are the only known oxygen producing prokaryotes. These are all included into the Cyanophyceae. These this group Cyanophyceae, it is considered as the most primitive type of the group of the algae. Okay, that Cyanophyceae consists of about 150 genera and 2,500 species. Okay, it consists of 100 genera and 2,500 species. These are the simplest living autotrophic organisms, and these are microscopic. Here you can see the flagella is entirely absent. That means the motile structures are not produced in the members of the Cyanophyceae. Okay, as the flagella is entirely absent, the motile cells or the motile structures, even in the reproduction, these are produced in the Cyanophycean members. Okay, the flagella is absent and it is also in the reproductive cells. Movement of certain type of the cells, it takes place, it is gliding, or they show the jerky movement. Then the presence pigments or the photosynthetic pigment, here there is a presence of the chlorophyll A, and along with the there is a presence then mucoxanthophil, and phycocyanin and the phycocyanin. Okay, here the presence of chlorophyll A, beta carotene, mucoxanthin, mucoxanthophil, and two pigments as the phycocyanin and the phycoerythrins are present. Okay, here the two phycobiline pigments, phycocyanin and phycoerythrin, these are present in the abundant amount, or we can say these are the dominant pigments, and thus these are imparting color to the earth. And that's why the members of the Cyanophyceae are commonly and popularly called as the blue-green algae. Okay, the two phycobiline pigments, phycocyanin and the phycobiline, these are present in the abundant amount, and that's why these are the dominant. These are imparting the blue-green color to the algae, and therefore the members of the Cyanophyceae are popularly called as the blue algae. Then the food storage, food it is stored in the form of myxophycean or in the form of Cyanophycean starch. Okay, so stored in the form of myxophycean or the Cyanophycean starch. Then another important character of the Cyanophyceae, the presence of the specialized cells of the disputed function. That is, these are called as the heterocyst. Presence of the heterocyst, it is considered as the primitive character. Okay, in the members of the Cyanophyceae, there is a of the specialized cell of distributed function called the heterocyst, and the presence of the heterosis is considered as the primitive character. Then another important character of the Phycocyanin is the sexual reproduction set. The members of the Synophyceae, these are never reproduces by the sexual reproduction. These are characters of the Synophyceae. Okay, and the Nostoc, it is showing all these characters, and that's why the Nostoc is included into the class Synophyceae. Okay, that is all of the general characters of the Synophyceae. Then the occurrence of the nostoc. Occurrence of the nostoc, it is a freshwater algae. Okay, it is a freshwater or the terrestrial alga. Then the nostoc, it never occur in a single filament, means nostoc, it is a filamentous algae, and it never occurs in a single filament. That means the large number of the filaments come together in a matrix of gelatinous material that is called as the lump, and thus the nostoc, it is a colonial algae. Okay, not a does single filament. Several filaments come together and forms the colony. The terrestrial algae, these are terrestrial species of the nostoc. These are present on the damp soil and the moist rocks. Okay. For example, the one terrestrial species of the nostoc, that is the nostoc commune, is the leathery sheath on the damp soil. Okay, the typical species of the nostoc, these are present on the damp soil and the moist rock. While species, these are found free floating in the sunny pools, ponds, lakes, or these are lying attached to the submerged vegetation. The aquatic nostoc, some of the aquatic species of the nostoc are free floating in the sunny pools, ponds, lakes, while some of the species these are lying at the bottom and these are attached to the submerged vegetation. While few species of the nostoc, they favor the running water and especially the fast flowing mountain streams. Okay, few species favor the running water, especially the fast flowing mountain streams. These are found attached to the stones along the stream beds. Okay, the species these are found attached to the stones along the stream beds, while the some of the species of the nostril, they live in symbiotic association with the fungi, and thus these are forming the lichen. Okay, some of the species, they live in a symbiotic association with a certain fungi, and then there will be the formation of the lichens. Then the species of the nostoc, these are also found in the anthoceros, that is a type of biophyte. These are found in the thallus of the anthoceros, the filament of the nostoc. These are reported to be present in the thallus of the ceros. The some species these of nostoc, these are abundantly present in the paddy fields. In the paddy fields, because species are known to fix the nitrogen. Okay, fix the nitrogen means what? For the nitrogen fixation, all you know that is the huge amount of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, but it cannot be utilized directly by the plants. That this atmospheric nitrogen, it is termed as the molecular nitrogen. Okay, that atmospheric nitrogen, it should be get converted into the usable forms. Usable form means it must be converted into the nitrate or the nitrite or the ammonium salts, so that can use this nitrogen. And this method of converting, or that process of converting the ferric nitrogen into the usable form, that process is called as the nitrogen fixation. And species of the nostoc are well known to involve in the nitrogen fixation, and thus these are tend to maintain the fertility of the paddy fields in which these forms regularly occur. Okay, thus by fixing nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, they tend to maintain the fertility of the paddy fields in which these forms regularly occur. Okay, that is all about the occurrence of the nostoc. Structure of the in the you can see the colony, how exactly it appear in the nature. Okay, the numerous filaments, just we have discussed the nostoc, it is a filament algae and not as it does not occur in a single filament. The numerous filaments which are called as the trichomes, in these come together lattice matrix forming the colonies. Okay, here you can see how exactly the colony appears in under the microscope. Here you can see the large number of the filaments which are called as the tri. These are coming together and these are covered up with the gelatinous matrix. And here you can see how the balls appears with the naked eyes. Okay, the colony size, these colony, they may be microscopic to the macroscopic. Okay, these are microscopic, these are pinhead size, or these may be the peanut size or the walnut size or the plum, 30 centimeter in diameter. Okay, the colony of the nostoc, and these are mouse to the pinhead size, walnut size, plum size, or they may color and appear as a J. Innumerable uh, the bead-like cells or the trichomes working in the lane, that is they come together and these are present in copious gelatinous matrix. Okay, then the young colonies are small microscopic, are the large, and several colony come together and these are forming a common sheath, and thus these are the macroscopic colony, and the macroscopic colony, these are called as the colony. Okay, here just you can see the colony of tree in which there is a large number of the trichomes of the filaments of the nostoc. Okay, that is about the structure of the colony. Then here the structure of the trichome. Here you can see this is the or the filament of the nostoc, but it never occur as a single filament. Here you can see the large number of the filaments comes together. Then these are connected, or these are surrounded by the gelatinous matrix. Okay, here you can see these are the large number of them and this is the mucilage covering. Here you can see how exactly the colony of the nostoc appears. Okay, it is the nostoc colony and it is a single filament with the trichome. Okay, the structure of the trichome here, the trichome, it is contorted, then it is moniliform. Okay, here the large number of the moniliform cells comes together, giving the appearance as a string of beads. Okay, it is contorted, it is moniliform, and these are trichomes intertwined and they wind in every direction in the gelatinous matrix. Okay, actually these are more towards the tail of the colony. Okay, then these are formed the dense limiting layer. Then this composed of the round oval cells. Here you can trichome in this the large number of the rounded or the oval. These are joined loosely from end to end, resembling the string of beads. Okay, in the trichome, numerous rounded oval cells joined from end to end, resembling a string of beads. At frequent intervals, there is a presence of the empty-looking barrel-shaped cells, and these are called as heterocyst. Okay, you can see at the interval there is a presence of empty-looking barrel-shaped spherical cells, and these are called as the heterocyst. And how these heterocysts are differentiated from the normal vegetative cells? These heterocysts, these are slightly larger in size, and these are having the thicker cell wall than the normal vegetative cells. Okay, heterocysts, these are barrel shaped cells. These are empty looking, then these are slightly larger and having the thicker cell wall than the normal vegetative cells. Then regarding the position of the heterocyst, here you can see the heterocyst, it is present intercalary. Intercalary means that is in between the vegetative cells. Okay, whenever the heterocyst present in between the vegetative cell, then it is called as the intercalary position. But sometimes whenever it is present at the terminal region of the trichome, then the position it is terminal. Then another important thing is that the heterocyst, they may occur singly, or they may be present in the pairs, or they may be present in the series. Regarding the number present in the trichome, they may be occur singly, they may occur in the pairs, or they may be present in the series. Okay, then the another important thing is there. Here you can see this is the intercalary heterosis, that means in between the vegetative cell. Here you can see there is the presence of the two pores at both ends, and that's why these are called as the polar nodules. Okay, that is in the intercalary heterosis there is a presence of the two polar pores, and these polar pores are called as the polar nodules. Generally, some of the algologists believe that these polar nodules maintains the cytoplasmic connection with the adjacent cell. Okay, algologists believe that the function of the polar nodule, generally these polar nodule means these are the polar, these are the pores which are present in the polar region, and they maintain the cytoplasmic connection with the adjacent vegetative cell. Okay, then the occurrence of the heterocyst, it is the feature of the synophycy. Okay, just we have discussed the general of the synophycy. The heterocyst, they only occur in the members of the synophycy, and therefore it is considered as the primitive character. Okay, really the heterocyst, that is these are having home yellow. Really the type of it is have very concentration of the colored pigments or even the absent. Okay, that's why these are appear as a empty looking. Okay, the homogeneous trans
सर आवाज नहीं येते.
The formation it always takes place in the which is adjacent to the heterocyst, and that's why some of the algologists believe they play an important role in the the kinetics are the resting cells which are developed during heterosis. These heterosis control the sporulation. Okay, then nitrogen fixation, and that's why the algologists believed that the heterocyst, these are the organs or the sites of the nitrogen fixation. Okay, the another assumption, these are the sites of the nitrogen fixation. The species of the nostocs which are having the heterocyst, these are involved actively in the nitrogen fixation, and that's why it is believed that these are the sites of the nitrogen fixation. Okay, then the another view is these are the locus for the filamentous breakage. Locus for the filamentous breakage, the junction between the heterocyst and the adjacent vegetation is fragile, and it is considered as the weakest link in the trichome. Okay, and thus it as the locus for the breakage. Okay, it serves as the locus for the breakage. That means the breakage of the trichome, it takes place at the junction where the heterocyst attaches to the vegetative cell. Okay, and it is helpful for the vegetative propagation. Okay, that is the different of the heterocyst. Okay, then addition to the heterocyst, there is a presence of the another specialized cells, and these are called as the kinetics. Akinete, these are the specialized cells which are found in the heterocyst forms under the adverse conditions. Okay, these are the specialized cells which are developed adjacent to the heterocyst in the unfavorable or the adverse environmental conditions. Okay, akinete, these are thick-walled, these are larger in size, and these are developed next to the cyst. Okay, and these are the resting cells, and they having or they accumulate a larger amount of food. Okay, these are the resting cells which are developed under the adverse or unfavorable environmental conditions. Okay, it's all about the structure of the colony and the structure of the trichome in. Then here you can see the reproduction. Reproduction in Nostoc, it only reproduces by the vegetative means. Asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction is entirely absent in the Nostoc. Okay, Nostoc, it reproduces only by vegetative means. Asexual and sexual reproduction, it is entirely absent in the Nostoc. Here, the different means reproduction in the nostoc takes place. The first one is the colony fragment. Colony fragmentation, that is, we have the colony size. The colony are microscopic, while the some of the colony are macroscopic. That is, colony come together, and these are formed compound colony. Okay, and these and the compound colony frequently breaks up as a result of storm or the other disturbances. Okay, larger colony frequently breaks up as a result of storm or the other disturbances, and each of these fragment then to the size of the parent colony. Okay, that is about the colony fragment. Fragmentation, larger compound colony frequently breaks up as a result of the other disturbances, and so due to fragmentation takes place, and each of the fragments then goes up to the size of the parent colony. Okay, then the second method of the vegetative reproduction, that is Harmogonia formation. Harmogonia formation, it is very common in the nostoc. This is the most common method of vegetative reproduction in the nostoc. Here, the first of all, the trichome ruptures. Ruptures, that is just we have discussed, that is the attaches to, it is junction which is considered as the weakest link in the filament. Okay, where the heterocyst and the vegetative cells adjoins that junction, it is the weakest link in the chain, and where that is, as it is the weakest link, that is here, that filament or the trichome takes place at that place, and due to which a short fragment of the living cell, it is isolated. That is, fragment of the living cell is called as the harmogonia. Okay, here you can see it is the filament is the filament, and here you can see the fragments of the living cell, and that short fragment of the living cell is called as the harmogonia. That harmogonia, that short fragment of the living cell, it seeps out of the parent colony, and then outside the parent colony, it will divide and redivide, and then develop into the new colony. Okay, that short fragment of the living cell, it slips out of the colony, it slips out of the gelatinous sheath, and outside parent colony, it divide, redivide, and again get new colony. Sometimes these harmogonia, the short fragments of the living cells, fail to slip out from the parent colony. Okay, they fail to slip from parent colony. In that case, they will remain inside that parent colony, divide and redivide, and they will increase the size of the colony and the number of trichomes in the colony. Okay, that is how the Harmogonia formation. It is the very common method of vegetative reproduction in the nostoc. Then the third method of the vegetative reproduction is the formation of resting spores. That is, these are called as the akinets. Akinets, these are the resting spores which are developed in the unfavorable or um, adverse environmental conditions. Okay, in the adverse environmental conditions, the cell. Okay, here you can see these akineti formation. It takes place in the vegetative cells. Here you can see the heterocyst is present and akineti formation takes place in the vegetative cells which adjacent to the hetero. During the unfavorable conditions, these vegetative cells will accumulate huge food or abundant food material, and due to the accumulation of abundant food material, these will these cells will enlarges in the size. There is a formation of a thick wall around cells, and thus these are resting cells which are called as the akineti. Okay? Generally, the akineti formation it takes place in the unfavorable. For example, that sufficient amount of moisture is temperature, it is not favorable for their survival. Then only in that case, such a resting spore, uh, spores or the resting are okay. That is that is all the vegetative cells of the filaments of the nostoc, they will convert to the akineti. And whenever conditions are favorable, whenever the optimum temperature is there, whenever moisture is available, in that case, each akineti germinate to form the. Okay, these are akineti formation. These are the whenever the conditions are favorable, then they will give rise to the new filament. Okay, that is about akineti formation. Then the endospores. Endospores in some of the species, for example, Nostoc microscopicum and the Nostoc communi. That is these are the terrestrial species which are formed on the damp soil or the moist rocks. The formation of the endospores and their germination into the new filament has also been reported. Okay, in the exceptional cases, the endospore formation may take place in the Nostoc microscopium and the Nostoc communi, and these endospores then germinate and give rise to the new filament. Okay, the last one, in cases and form and then four cells. Heterosis directly germinate. Okay, the heterosis generally not directly germinate to give rise, but in a few cases, in the few exceptional cases, the heterosis directly give rise to the new filament, and that new filament then divide, redivide, and give rise to the new colony of the nostoc. Here you can see that heterosis in the exceptional cases, it divide into the two-celled structure and then into the four-celled structure, and this four-celled structure is called as the germling, and then it divide and the redivide and then develop into the trichome of the nostoc, and thus these several trichomes then develops the colony of the nostoc. Okay, in the Exceptional cases, generally heterosis germination is reported. Okay, these are all methods of the reproduction in the nostoc. Okay, nostoc, it reproduces only by the vegetative method, and asexual sexual reproduction in the nostoc, it is not reported, but it is not done by the this method. Okay, that is all about the reproduction in the nostoc.